Mönchshof Hell.
Life is too short to be drinking shitty beer.
Welcome to another edition of Bands, Bikes and Booze Reviews. I did tell you that I had a load of beer from the Kulmbacher Brewery, and this is another one of their offerings. This is their Mönchshof range, and this is the Hell that they do. And I have to say, all the beers I've tried from this Mönchshof range, let me give you a close up of that label there. All the beers I've tried from that range have been pretty damn good. I have got no complaints about them whatsoever. I've just tried the Land beer. That was really nice. I did enjoy that. And I've tried their Bock beer, which was really good as well. Never tried much of their stuff before, so I'm just sort of working my way through them at the moment. They're, of course, owned by, or they're produced by the Kulmbacher Brewery. And they do a few beers under their umbrella. I always compare them to Marston's and Green King, because that's what they do over here. They've taken over a few breweries, but what they've done is they've not sort of dissolved them, but they've actually kept the livery on the bottles. I'm hoping, I don't think Green King do this, and I'm not sure whether Marston's do it or not. I don't think Marston's do either. But if they've kept the recipe, then more power to them, because over here, when you get taken over by Green King or Marston's or one of them big brewers like that, they'll just take your brewery over and still punt out the same stuff, but they'll change the recipe. And they did that. Marston's have definitely done that. I know for a fact. They've done it with Director's Bitter. They're not even calling it a bitter anymore. They're calling it Superior Ale. Well, it was a really nice bitter before they got their hands on it. And now it tastes like a fucking bag lady's period. And they've got Superior Ale on it. I don't know what world that is a Superior Ale, but it isn't in the fucking world we live in at the moment. It might be that flat earth that some people believe in, but it ain't this one. But Kulmbacher, I must admit, I don't know. I've not tried these beers before they were taken over, but I have to say, the end result is pretty good. Now, I've tried Kulmbacher's own export. That was really nice. I've just tried the Kulmbacher Land beer. The two tasted similar. Now, that doesn't bother me, because they're good beers, or the recipe is good. So if you've got two beers that have been punted out, but with the same decent beer in it, then I'm not going to get the ump as much as I would if it was a beer that had a really good pedigree. They've got hold of it, and then they've just changed the fucking recipe, and it's turned into a pile of dog shit. And that does happen. But I have to say, I know I keep going over it, but I have to say the Mönchshof stuff is good. So let's see if this stuff is going to let the side down or not. Right, 500ml bottle, 4.9%, and it obviously conforms to the Reinheitsgebot. This this is the oldest label, or oldest style of label, I've seen from the Mönchshof. The others looked pretty modern, but this looks like a right blast from the past, this does. It's got a monk there with the beer in his hand. Quick tip for you, if you see a beer bottle and it's got a monk on it, I guarantee you that beer has never seen the inside of a monastery. Again, I made this point in a couple of other reviews as well. They do like, in Europe, to put, the old religious tint on beer. And of course, I'm not knocking it, because that's where its roots are. But it is in the United Kingdom as well. And the reason for that was because monks brewed beer, and it was considered a very sort of holy, traditional type of thing to do. But I think when you're no longer a monastery, I think you should stop the fucking facade and just get with the times. But that's just my personal opinion. I know I'm all for tradition and all that, but that is, I think, a little bit pushing it. It's clever marketing, or playing on the fact that, you know, it used to be a monastery. For example, Leffe do it. Leffe, there's no way any of their beers have ever, well, I'm not saying that ever, but the Leffe monastery was destroyed, flattened, rebuilt, flattened again during the wars and everything. But the stuff isn't even brewed there now, and I just think it's a bit tenuous. Anyway, that's just me, rant over. Let's check this beer out. I do like the old bang from them flip top bottles. Let's get in the glass. Now this is a hell, of course. It is a bottom fermented lager. Apparently it's got 3 types of hops in here, which is interesting. And I imagine it's got that Kulmbacher yeast, which I think I'm tasting now throughout their beers, but it's really nice. I'll tell you what I did try yesterday was the Andex Bock burger beer. Christ almighty, that was lovely. That was absolutely gorgeous. That was the best one from Andex, that was. And I tried a Mönchshof beer straight after. Obviously it wasn't nowhere near as good, but it still wasn't bad. Well, here it is in a glass. It is a straw colour, quite a lot of carbonation. Foamy, 1.5 finger head. Now that smells mild. The lamb beer I was getting big aromas from. Big earthy spice and malt, sweet malt from the mixture of the yeast and the malt on there. But this, I have to say, there's not much in there at all. No, I really am struggling to get any aroma from that whatsoever. Oh well, let's just get it. Fucking hell, I'm blocking my face here. That's probably not a bad thing, actually. State of my boat race. Let's get it down the hatch. Zum Wohl, as they say in Germany. That's not bad. Not as flavoursome as the land beer. It's not as sweet as the land beer. This is your typical Helles or Hell or lager, if you like. And I have to say, it's quite nice. It's not the best, don't get me wrong, but that is definitely a chugger. Nice balance, actually. It's subdued compared to the other beers, but there's still a fair bit of flavour in there. It's really well balanced, actually. Thinking about it now, the finish, it does leave a long bread dough type malt finish. That's obviously coupled with the yeast, which makes it a little bit sweet, but then you do get a little bit of the hop character on there too. This is definitely a chugger. 4.9%. You could drink absolute gallons of this. It's really nice. It's definitely one for, you know, hot summer's day. You know, 8 or 9 bottles of this, just whack them in the fridge, couple of hours, crack them open, and you know, this is just going to go down. It ain't even going to touch the sides. Very nice indeed. Does leave a nice bread, as I say, bready, doughy finish, and it's super smooth as well. As I say, really, it goes down. It goes down like Angela Merkel's knickers. What a fucking horrible thought that is. No complaints whatsoever. I really can't find fault with that. I have tasted craft beer that's called itself Helles, and it's not tasted anything like that at all. And for a 330ml can, it's been like £3 or something like that. And I just think, you know, if you're going to call your beer a Helles, this is what you should be doing. And I had this row with, well, not a row, it wasn't a row, it was discussion with the fella from the Kulmbacher Brewery. And he was calling his beers Helleses and Dunkels and all that. They're what I call a dark lager. It tasted quite nice. And I just questioned as to why he called it a Dunkel. And he says, because that's the style. And I said, no, the style is dark lager. The reason the Germans call it Dunkel is because Dunkel means dark. And then he said, well, you wouldn't call a vegetable lasagna a pasta and vegetable bake, would you? And I went, no, because that's not the style. You know, if you're copying a lasagna is the originator. And dark lager did not originate in Germany. Well, you can argue that it didn't. It originated in the Czech Republic and in Germany as well. But yeah, it got a bit, I wouldn't say it got a bit heated, but he was arguing the point and I was arguing my point, and we agreed to differ. But in all fairness, their dark lager, Dunkel, whatever you want to call it, that was quite nice. And the reason I brought this subject up was because they do a Helles as well. And I said, why don't you just call it a lager? And he says, oh, because we're copying that style. I said, the style is lager. You're British. Why are you using German words? Just call it a lager, you know. But anyway, that wasn't very good. I didn't like their Helles. And then my point is, you know, going around the fucking houses, you know, if it tasted like this, I would say, well, yeah, not bad. I don't think you should call it a Helles, but it's quite nice. And then, you know, they produced a really bad beer. But to be fair, you know, I'm not. Sounds like I'm knocking Calvars. I'm not. I quite like what they do. Their what they called the Helles wasn't that great. And I remember I tried a Bavarian beer. It was called 93er. I think that's the only way I can remember it. But I've reviewed it on the channel, and that tasted just like it. But it was really bad. It was shocking, and that surprised me coming from Bavaria, because Bavaria normally do really well. You know, the competition's so fucking fierce there that you can't afford to not do good beer. But this tasted really bad out of a bottle. It was really bad, and it tasted like the Calvo stuff. So I had to eat humble pie there, because I said, if you're going to copy a German lager, you know, at least make it taste like a German lager. And this stuff did taste like what the Calvo's brewery. So it made me look like a twat. So Calvo's, if you're watching, I stand bollocked. Anyway, enough about that. This stuff, not bad. Not bad. I've tried some really good stuff from the Mönchshof Kulmbacher range. This is just okay. It's not outstanding compared to everything else they've done. Everything else they've done has been really nice. I've just tried their land beer, as I said. That was really good. This stuff, it's good. Don't get me wrong, it's good, but I had higher hopes for them. But it's still nice. I mean, for fuck's sake, I'm being really nitpicky there. This is quite nice. And I'm getting a little bit more sweetness from it now as well. There's a little bit of yeast character coming through there now. And I don't know whether that's because it's warmed up a little bit. I took this out of the fridge. I let it stand for about 10 minutes. But I'm getting a little bit more sweetness on there now than I was before. And actually, stop all proceedings. That actually does make it just a little bit more fucking drinkable. A little bit more drinkable. Look, this is how much I've drunk already. That was a pint when I started. And that is going down way too easy. So I better park this right here and give you the verdict. So what is the verdict on Mönchshof Hell? Well, there's a little twist on that one. I didn't think it was that good, but as it's warmed up slightly and the yeast characters come through, it's added some sweetness on it, and that has made it really nice. It does remind me of some of the other Bavarian Helles that I've really liked, and this is, I wouldn't say it's a cheap brand, but it's, as I say, it's been taken over by a brewery who do other brands as well. But that is really nice, I have to say. And but I think you have to get it at the right temperature. I think if you take it out of the fridge, I mean, obviously that's going to be good in the summer and all that, but if you really want to get the true flavour, take it out of the fridge, leave it for about sort of 10-15 minutes at room temperature, and then drink it. And I think then you'll get all the true flavours of it. That last lot, I'm just going to try one more. Hang on while I'm here. Yeah. You get the yeast and the malt character coming through a little bit more. That is really nice. I'm going to give it a little bit more of a mark than I was before. Do I give it a 9 or do I give it 8.5? I'm going to give it a 9. I'm going to give it a 9. I really like it. It's really nice. No nasties in there whatsoever, of course, because it conforms to the Reinheitsgebot. And Mönchshof, that is another winner for you. I nearly fucked that up by drinking it at the wrong temperature. But yeah, as it's warmed up just that little bit, I've got that more of the sweetness from that yeast, and it's absolutely gorgeous. Well done, Kulmbacher. That is another winner. 9 out of 10. Recommended. And remember, beer is working class champagne.